Hello guys, so are you guys excited about the finals next week? Everybody geeked up? So I think a couple of items or logistics items. First of all of you must have received registration, right? So all the students should register and if your parents want to come, your relatives, whoever, please register. We want an accurate head count by Wednesday. So this weekend, if you can register yourself for sure, as well as whoever wants to attend. So we'll start at around 11, and at 11:30 we'll start the pitches, and we will send out, like, we'll do a random selection of who goes in what order. So it's basically random. So you have to live with whatever comes out. And we'll have three judges who are investors, real VCs, who will basically judge according to the same rubric we do here. And I think, yes, so the registration is very important. You guys need to really practice your pitches, no reading. Everybody needs to know their stuff. Be very confident. As I said, your mentors this week, that remember Ryan Poland, the first day when he came, he was asking AI to become an investor. So you can actually record your pitches, send it to an AI, and ask AI to tell you what are the kind of questions you may be asked. We ask you questions, but today will be more critical. But you need to be thinking on your feet, and you need to be confident. So don't just stop. Like, if somebody is not able to answer in your team, just pitch in, and it's okay to pitch in. And but be confident, because this is stuff that you guys have built. You spent 3-4 months basically understanding the businesses. So you should be confident in knowing more than the people who are listening. So judges have a lot of experience. They'll ask questions from their experience, but you know your business well. So you have to be basically know your numbers. I think one thing I would really focus on is how you're making money. So what Farhan taught, like what is the economic value? Is the unit economics scaling well? So you should review with your mentors and among yourselves how you're going to address those questions, because those are some of the very important things. So the first is, as we said throughout the problem, throughout the program, are you solving a real problem? What is your solution? Why is it differentiated? How are you articulating the value proposition in front of investors? In the first 1 minute, everybody in the room, there'll be 100 people, should understand that. Some people may be 5-year-old. If you're able to make them understand, I think you have a win already. Because then you basically wrap the audience on, these guys are doing something very nice. There are different ways to present it. I don't know how your pitch is today, but one way is to relate the audience. So you basically describe what if the problem, and this is what if the solution was there. You do it in the beginning as a good storyteller. I think that's where you will capture the audience. So that's the thing. It's about how do you present your story in front of the audience. You know the stuff, you have built whatever you have built, you show the demo and all that, but you need to be really confident. And the other thing is, we've all spent 4 months going through this program. So dress up, basically be your best looking self. Like all the teams, generally in the past, we have coordinated how they are dressed, whether you're boys or girls to wear suits. It's a professional kind of delivery. So you have to come and smile when you're speaking, smile with the audience. Don't get, I think the most important thing is you have 5 or 6 of you. So if one person getting stuck, just drop in, cover his part or her part. So there's nothing, because you're a team, you have to win at the end of the day. And I think all of you have done really well. So regardless of what happens on the competition, I feel that, and you guys should feel it, the day you came first and the day you are today, or when you will graduate next Saturday, you will take this experience throughout your life. So this is not a one-time thing. in 10 years when you're starting your own company, or 5 years when you're starting your own company, you can use some of these principles. You can use your mentors to become your mentors in those companies. So that's how important this experience is. So having said that, I think one thing we wanted to do today was we'll give you a snapshot of one of the winning pitches from 3 years back. I think one of the girls' elder sister was the CEO, Lauren Kuo. So I think, and this was a very good pitch. They won it. They did really well in the global competition also. So I'll show you the pitch. Maybe not the whole of it, but at least maybe 5-6 minutes of it. Then maybe I'll just pause, and I think I want you to reflect before you start preparing for the pitch. I'll let you guys, will give you about 30 minutes, and then we'll do one pitch today, and then we'll take another break for about 40 minutes and do another pitch. So, and then during this week, just prepare as much as you can, because practice makes perfect. So I think you guys will know that if you're practicing a lot as a group, you'll know the transitions, you'll know what kind of questions are going to be asked. So that's the game right now.
It's simplified. The digital airport planner that makes your traveling experience extraordinarily simple. My name is Mandy. Here we have Lauren, Vaga, Zayden, and Rajas. Our CTO, unfortunately, Sharia, he could not be here today as he frantically tried, but couldn't make it to his flight back to California on time. However, he's not alone in this. Like Sharia, how many people here experience airport anxiety? I know I do. Now, we've all been in this situation before. It's hectic and crowded at the airport. The tensions are high in your family as you all struggle to make it to your flight on time. We can all relate to the stress and unpleasantness of this experience, which is why it is our goal at Simplify to make your traveling experience efficient and stress-free by providing door-to-flight assistance so that you can start and end your vacation the right way.
All over the news, we see that poor planning and inadequate information leads to a ton of stress at the airport. In fact, 1 in every 7 people, according to a Forbes study, have missed their flight due to any of these reasons. In our first survey of over 100 plus respondents, we found out that 61% of people experience mild to severe airport stress, which corresponds with the Forbes study of 63%.
In our second survey with over 200 responses, we found that 35% mentioned timing, 26% unexpected events, 18% security, and 10% lack of information as stressors that our app would be able to target. So let's be real, no one likes security checkpoints. A study done by iInside found that 39% of passengers had negative experiences towards security, and that the highest rates of airport stress were found at security. So this tells us that our app will be able to directly target airport anxiety through accessible wait times, and that there is a market looking for a solution to this issue. And then finally, we found that the interest level to download our app was at 85%, and that 79% were willing to pay $5. This information, along with the fact that 32 million people pay for TSA PreCheck, global entry, and other federal vetting programs, allowed us to set our price at $5 per use.
Now, even before your vacation begins, you've had to use countless applications like Uber, Google Maps, Waze, My TSA, Yelp, and rental cars. Not to mention, traveling is stressful enough. Enter Simplify. Simplify will act as an integrator, taking the best parts of these applications and compiling the data for you in a user-friendly app. Currently, the traveling experience is very digitalized. However, everyone seems to be missing day-of-travel information. Some airports, such as Miami and JFK, are already investing in wait time systems, and companies like iInside and CrowdVision are also licensing this data. Once we have enough users, we hope to crowdsource our own data too, and also use geofencing as a tool. Now here is our app prototype. First, you enter your flight information. Then you enter your location and fill out the personalization page so that we can create an itinerary for you. The Waze integration will then begin your transit. Here's the aspect of our app that we like to call your journey. The green bar will indicate how far into each task you've completed with notifications to keep you on track. Most notably, our app offers real-time updates that will prepare you for the worst-case scenarios, such as sudden crowding or heavier traffic than anticipated. Our app will show you the change in your journey and automatically readjust your leisure time or buffer time to make sure that you stay on schedule with notifications to keep you at ease. In case of any unexpected events, alternative flights and nearby hotels will be presented so that the stresses of your vacation are taken care of. And then here we have a check-in page with real-time updates
an integration of my TSA to show you the security blinds, and then a route to your gate.
Our users would have buffer time before their flight, for which they could choose what to do with this time. Additionally, we would offer coupons and vouchers for the local shops and restaurants at the airport. This would allow us to enable e-commerce with our partners. Once again, the notification system will make sure our users stay on track wherever they are in the airport, as well as the lock screen timer that will show how much time is remaining in your journey. Once you have landed, we will provide you a rental car service if needed, and also recommend you to provide feedback on your experience with our app. Our app is based on the McKinsey Shoe effect, which states that if people have information available to them to distract themselves while waiting, the anxiety is proven to be much lower.
In the future, we plan to add additional airport features such as restaurant wait times, pre-takeoff accommodations, baggage claim services, and group interactions, such as the ability for users to interact with one another and help each other out, such as adding a comment section.
Now, according to IBI's World, every single year there are 793 million trips taken in the US alone. This was our total addressable market. For our serviceable available market, we took 83% of our TAM, and this is found from the trips that are taken within the top 30 US airports. This gave us an SAM of 660 million. For our serviceable obtainable market, we took the average group of flyers, which we found to be around 2.4 according to our survey. This is because we assume that only one user will be paying for our plan per group. And this gave us an SOM of 275 million.
Simplify will be following the freemium model, with our premium side being available through single-use purchases or subscription plan. The basic side of our app would include line times and other resources, and the premium side would include more personalization and real-time updates. The premium side would also be accessible through single-use purchases priced at $5 a use, or subscription priced at $30 a year. We also hope to allow consumers to pay with frequent flyer miles, as they are more inclined to spend those.
Now here's our financial projection for the next 5 years. Based on our SOM of 275 billion, by the end of year 5, we expect to capture 5% of this SOM, which is 13.9 million. Assuming that 40% of our users pay $5 a use and 5% of them pay $30 a year, we have a total user payment revenue of 49 million. For our affiliate marketing revenue, we estimated that to be around 21 million. And we believe this to be a conservative value, as it represents a completely captive audience waiting in the airport to whom we have gifted stress-free time. Now, this is a total revenue of 70 million. We've also done an analysis on costs and found that most of our expenses come from product and marketing. This gave us a total cost of 27 million, leaving us with a total profit of 43 million. We also expect to see a very aggressive growth rate and a profit margin of 61%. And our competitors are MyFlight, Fleet, and TripIt. However, none of them offer the holistic solution to airport stress that Simplify would, with the wait times, live information, progress screen, comprehensive information, integration with shopping, and customization.
In phase 2, we intend to target the remaining U.S. flyers, being business flyers and families, and we will provide the same programs in addition to renewal incentives, as well as a frequent flyer miles program. And finally, in phase 3, we intend to expand internationally, and in doing so, we'll be creating more business partnerships and furthering our frequent flyer miles program. A large portion of our initial public outreach will be done using QR codes throughout various participating airports, in which potential users can scan to receive a free trial. And in doing so, they will be able to experience our app to its fullest extent and then report their experience on social media, increasing our digital presence through the use of word of mouth.
Now we are asking for $500,000 at a $2 million pre-money valuation. This will cover all of our first year costs and some of our second year. With this money, we will build and launch our app, onboard our first 20,000 users, build some brand and agency partnerships, and have 2 API platform integrations.
So here's a board of advisors, ranging from CEO to the former director of sales in American Airlines, and many more who helped us to curate this vision. So, in the wise words of the late Frank Sinatra, come fly with us, let's fly away. We are Simplify, thank you.
Again, always phenomenal presentation. Four is amazing. Question I have is in the area of you're reliant on the departure information by the carrier or flight, correct?
Correct. And we'd also be relying on some data from others.
So as they're more or less reliable, you could end up getting almost a whipsaw if they start shifting gates or they're not reliable and you're all of a sudden, I thought I had 10 minutes or 30 minutes for lunch. I'm in the middle of lunch. I rely and got 5 minutes. How have you thought to manage that? If you're covering all carriers and all airports, you could become unreliable, not because of you, but potentially them.
Yeah. So we're going to focus on the first 30 U.S. airports in the beginning, as I mentioned with our SAM. And with this, we hope to, build partnerships with the actual airlines themselves so that when they do release information like that, we are the first to know so we can give it to our user. And we find it a lot easier to have it on your phone rather than find out through like a screen at the airport.
Ashish. Holy cow. All right. First of all, I want to say that you guys are brilliant to realize that investors tend to be a little older than you. And that finishing slide, the best I've ever seen. You guys probably don't even know who Frank Sinatra is, but you know that everyone with money does. That's so smart. So this deal captures in a simple way an important asset, an important excitement statement of what you're bringing. I got it very quickly, and one of your early slides showed me what that app looks like in my life. I go, that's brilliant. Remember, investors don't know about competition and all the smart stuff that's already out there. But I wind up walking away, really? Can you do that? Can you really, for $260,000 of expense, be able to have an updated system personalized to where I am in that GPS, the travel plan or the stops along the way that I have put into it, and be accurate enough that I'm going to trust this and it's going to work so I trust it again? So I'm just going to tell you, I'm having a little hard time on believability that operationally you can pull this off. So what can you say to help me trust you to trust this app?
Right, so in the beginning, we would be relying a lot on other sources of information, not our own data, since we do not have enough users yet. But we would be, so with open APIs, we would be able to integrate with these other apps. And then for the information, there are some companies, as I mentioned, like Einstein and CrowdVision, and airports themselves are starting to try and look into these numbers because they are kind of important. So we can collect data from them. Eventually, when we have enough users, we will be able to collect our own data. And we hope that with our own data, we can maybe license it one day and sell that out too.
So that's a great general answer. I'll just say that, who's the chief operating officer here? Here's the problem. Oh, no, we do have one. And you're excited about being that role, huh? So I'm just...
So I think hopefully this gives you a good idea of, I think it's a good things to, what I liked about this presentation, this is a very good, these guys actually went and won a competition in Chapman, which is a college, local college. So they went and pitched and they won against the college students that year. So one thing, as you said, everybody was coordinated. The three guys, or at least the two girls who were very confident in speaking, they occupied the most, and it's okay because you worked as a team, but they had the best skills to talk. So you see, and the other thing was they were smiling. Everybody was smiling they were looking at the judges on the eyes. They were smiling at them. They were looking at the audience. So those are the cues everybody looks for, and that's what you should try to focus on this week. And the other thing was when they were asked, these were, they were very pleasant but tough questions, and you saw how they answered it. They didn't fluster. So you have to have some things to talk about. So I think we just wanted to give you a flavor of what your level should be. And every team is different, but I think you guys are capable. I think you have practiced hard. So now focus on today as well as the rest of the days next week practice as much as you can and you will be very good. So I think that's what we wanted to say. So now we'll give you about 20, 30 minutes to practice and we will start the pitches and then we'll have another session about 1 hour later. Okay?
Nexus, you guys can come on up.
Let me introduce you to Alyssa. Through Alyssa's journey, you'll learn exactly how Nexus can transform students' lives. Every week, a student like Alyssa sits in her AVID class with big dreams and no roadmap to reach them. Alyssa is a high school sophomore who just watched the Artemis 2 rocket launch and decided right then that she was going to build the next one. So she did what any driven student would do. She contacted aerospace engineers online, sending emails for weeks on end, contacting 57 different professionals. She didn't get a single response. And it was not her fault. It's that the system was never built for her. Career access has always depended on who your parents know, what school you go to, what zip code you're from. Alyssa had none of that. Then she found Nexus. 48 hours later, she came into contact with an aerospace engineer from NASA. 24 hours later, she matched with a material scientist from SpaceX. Each new connection opened a door that the last one couldn't. For the first time ever, she has all the right people in her corner to achieve her dreams on merit, not personal connections.
Alyssa's frustration isn't unique. The problem is not a lack of talent nor a lack of drive, but a lack of access. Right now, the national average for students and counselors in America is 400 to 1. With the lack of professional guidance, it's no surprise that students turn to unverified social media or biased parents. This lack of personal guidance is what gives uncertainty in career direction, which affects the rest of their lives. It is this access gap that Nexus aims to bridge.
The gap represents an untouched market. There are approximately 34 million students in both colleges and high schools across the United States, representing a total addressable market of $7.3 billion, increasing at 16% every year. Our serviceable market is for the 3.9 high school juniors and seniors who are currently making college and career decisions. That segment alone is worth $792 million. Our immediate beachhead is Orange County, Southern California, specifically those in AVID or college prep programs who are reachable through direct school partnerships. That represents $120 million. This is an entry point for a market nobody has ever built for, and we are right inside it.
That mic on? No, it's not.
Our solution for students like Alyssa is trifold. Firstly, for students and parents, we offer access to verified professionals in minutes, hours, not weeks. Secondly, we allow professionals to be able to mentor and gain access to students without the wasted time of cold outreach or unwanted emails. Finally, we offer value for companies who are aiming to discover and engage with the talented pools before traditional pipelines have access.
Our model is validated, accessible, and built to scale. We surveyed 60 parents on their willingness to pay for Nexus, and their average price came out to be $13.68 per month. We price our student subscription at $15 per month, optimized for conversion while maintaining healthy margins. That is the B2C side of our model. It costs less than a regular streaming service, but offers access that can genuinely change a student's trajectory. Our B2B side of our model is where the scale is. Through our company subscription of $50,000 per year, enterprises will gain structured AI match access to a curated pipeline of career-ready students more efficiently than any other traditional recruiting channel. Immediate B2C revenue will build our network, and followed B2B revenue will follow.
The most important question for any aspiring business is, does the math work on the individual level? For Nexus, the answer is a resounding yes. Our cost per student exponentially decreases as we increase our database, and our operational expenditures increase in proportion to our company size. While we expect a net loss in the first year, we aim to make that back up in the following years with a steady growth of both student body and revenue.
We're starting with a $250,000 investment, which leads us to launch. Year one, we're investing in traction, with 1,000 students paying $15 per month and laying the foundation for our student database. By year 5, we're estimating $23.5 million in net profit. The real engine is not the student subscription models, it's enterprise access. By year 5, 58% of our profit will come from enterprises, companies paying $50,000 annually to gain access to our verified, career-ready talent pool that we've already built.
Now, you may be wondering, are mentors really willing to do this for free? We conducted a mentor survey where we received over 107 responses. Out of that, 68% of these respondents said that they are willing to do this for free solely for the impact that they will have on the students. Next, the additional 18% of these respondents said that they were open to minimal compensation, but are not solely driven by the fact of getting an incentive. And finally, the last 10% said that they would want to be paid. With this, almost 90% of these respondents said that they are solely in it for the impact and are not driven by a financial incentive. But you don't need to take our word for it. Let's hear it from the mentors themselves.
Timo, supervisor of a regulatory affairs team that is focused on infectious disease in the United States.
And I'm the founder of tourism companies.
And I'm committed to mentoring for free.
And I'm committed to mentoring for free.
This is our go-to-market strategy in 3 clear steps. First, once we build a strong mentor database through LinkedIn, we plan to contact OC high schools with avid programs, because this is where students who are most career-driven or want to boost their resumes for college will be. This is where students like Alyssa will be sitting today. Our second step is to expand into colleges and universities through major specific clubs like financial or medical clubs, because again, this is where the students who are most career-driven will be. And finally, we plan to sell this database once we have a strong student audience to small businesses and recruitment firms for potential hires or internships.
We conducted a direct competitive analysis to identify what current mentorships apps already exist in their gaps and to highlight where Nexus is unique. Our key competitors are ADP List, Mentor Cruise, and LinkedIn. These platforms offer good networking opportunities but lack a fully student-integrated and friendly program. That's why Nexus offers structure, connection with mentors who actually want to be there. Nexus checks off all of Alyssa's boxes, and we support students just like her all the time.
So as of now, we have our MVP with all key features fully functional. We have over 50 mentors who are guaranteed to be on our platform once we launch the app, and over 160 survey responses for our market validation from parents, mentors, and students. Now looking forward, we plan to gauge interest with at least 5 Orange County high school AVID programs, and once we get that interest, we plan to launch our beta program with at least 800 students and 150 mentors on our platform. Then we want to expand into OC and SoCal, including enterprises and colleges and universities with at least 8,000 students and 25 schools on our platform. Looking forward, Nexus's essential goal is to become the national standard for mentorship, because we create this really cohesive pipeline of high school students who may not even know what field they want to go into, to these very driven, motivated, and prepared individuals who will be hired from the companies that we partner with.
We are asking for $250,000 for 8% equity in our company, based on a current valuation of $3 million and a third-year projected valuation of $18 million. We split the $250,000, allocated 40% for marketing, 40% for operation and salaries, and 20% for legal and compliance.
My name is Anish Chogle, CEO of Nexus, and this is my management team. Alyssa's story didn't end with a match on Nexus. It ended with a launchpad. 34 million students across the country are still waiting for theirs. Help us help them. Thank you.
I can go. So firstly, fantastic job. Fantastic job. You guys have really come along. I love the fact that nobody was reading the slides. That's a really big deal. Really important. So, I think that part in itself is very difficult to do, and you can see the practice that you guys have had. As I mentioned to you last week, data trumps opinions. My opinion was that the mentors won't do it for free, but you proved that wrong. So data trumps that. Great job on that as well. One thing that I would say is on your financial slides, they need to be much more clear, right? So if you go on your slides and projections that, just use a rule of thumb that your audience and your investors need to be able to get the main point of your slide in 5 seconds without you saying anything. So whatever is it that you're trying to say in this slide, it needs to come across for them looking at the slides in 5 seconds without you saying anything. The last thing I think that you can really work on is $50,000 from enterprise is a big number. I think you can get that number if you show the value you're providing for that. Right now, I don't think your presentation shows the value that they would be getting for that 50,000. I think a little bit on that as to why it's worth 50,000 will be important.
Thank you.
Good job. Anybody else? Any mentor?
I connected with Alyssa right away. That story is fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Very good job. I think you guys have been the best in terms of presenting from the very beginning. One thing which I'd like you guys to do is, I think the Alicia story was really nice. You should start with your Nexus logo and then jump into saying that, let me tell you about Alyssa. So you talk about how Nexus helped Alyssa, that's not the way to present it. Second thing is, you guys are very good presenters. Bring in some energy, bring in some smile. I think I felt the energy was like 70%. So you saw the pitches that we show you, right? The pitch that we showed you. When you pitch, you have to basically elevate your level of energy to almost like 110%. And we should feel it. Very good job.
EcoPlay. On up.
Since the year 2000, how much do you guys think university tuition prices have increased? I'll tell you, it's 160%, which has resulted in nearly 4 in 10 college students facing financial hardships and anywhere from 20 to 50% of all college students facing food insecurity. This means that up to half of all US college students don't know when or where they're getting their next meal from. And that's how we created EcoPlay, affordable surplus meals for students deserved in seconds. Our mission is simple. We strive to bridge the gap between students and getting them affordable fresh meals.
The problem is real. Students are missing meals due to lack of time with their heavy workloads, and high costs. There's a lot of food being left unsold at the end of the night, and campuses want less food waste without extra staff work. When conducting our market When conducting our market survey at UCI, we found that 68% of surveyed UCI students wanted to try EcoPlay, and that 40% of the US food supply is wasted each year. One of the people we interviewed at UCI is Diana. She's a 20-year-old student who lives on campus and is convenience-driven and often uses online apps to purchase her daily necessities. She struggles with money-saving habits due to the immense amount of schoolwork she's been getting. So she looks to us.
Now the demand is real. As we said, we went to UCI several times now and found that 68% of the students that we interviewed said they're willing to try EcoPlay, while 61% are willing to try EcoPlay for have a meal for $7 or more. Now our solution. We're looking for an affordable, stigma-free, and sustainable way to make this happen. Students can get low-priced meals while feeling confident and just rescue a fresh meal and reduce food waste. There's a very large market for EcoPlay, with a total addressable market of $23 billion, a serviceable addressable market of $1.5 billion, and a serviceable attainable market of $105,000. How it works.
Students, dining hall staff are able to take their food that was not sold and put it in our refrigerator, while students are able to go onto our app, confirm their pickup, and come to the dining hall to recover the food from the fridge. We've already had lots of dining hall interest from, for example, from University of Michigan, where we're in an active conversation and are going to have a meeting with them next week. And we've received many validation signals from New York University, Northeastern, University of Miami, and more. We've also received many positive feedbacks from restaurants, including Sergeant Pepperoni's, which is right across the street from UCI, The Slides, Rose Bakery, and more.
We have obvious competitors, but none of them check all the boxes like we do. We're affordable due to our inexpensive price range, stigma-free, on or near campus, sustainable and consistent due to what Madeline mentioned earlier with our partnerships with reputable universities and nearby businesses. So our partner model works by first, the dining hall licensed food operators who are already workers at the dining hall. They prepare the boxes of food and we never touch the food. EcoPlate, which is our business, is basically just the platform. We handle all the financials, we manage the app and everything, and then through the app, the students reserve their meals and pick it up at the nearby restaurant or dining hall.
The app made up Photo Plus is the process in that fraction of time. That's why we built an AI photo scanner. With one photo, staff can identify the dish, estimate calories and macros, and track allergens automatically. The result is protein surplus is fast enough to actually happen. Here's some of the app screens. Towards the left is the student floor, where students can browse, reserve, and receive a pickup and QR code. Towards the right is the staff floor, where staff can post new fresh boxes, track reservations, and manage no-shows. You can play books because we built both sides of the app, not just the student patient version. Here is a video that can help visualize how an EcoPlay pilot might work in the near future. And we have a demo available that you can scan with the QR code as we prepare to refine the app prior to a post-pilot.
Now, for our 3-year plan. By the end of year 3, we are looking to operate in 20 or more college universities and expect a gross profit of just under $600,000. And our current status, as you all know, we have our survey data and we have our prototype. As of now, we currently have a meeting plan with University of Michigan to discuss our pilot details on their campus coming this fall. Now, EcoPlate's asked. We are asking for $20,000 to help fund our first pilot, and this will cover any of our onboarding expenses, as well as mechanics, legal fees, and a little bit of marketing. Thank you guys for listening.
I think you guys are getting there with the presentation. A lot less of reading than last time, but you still need to really hone in on that part. Have the confidence about the material that you have. I think the biggest concern I have is that the numbers are way too low, right? So if you go back to, let's say, your 3-year projection. Yeah, I mean, I think that 67,000 and going up to 570 profit in 3 years, those are low numbers. Take a look at what your potential market is versus what you're getting to. I think that there's probably more there. I think there's also a scalability here that's beyond college students, right? So if you have low numbers like this and you're rechecking it, then at least allude to investors that, this is the tip of the iceberg. Your model can be used in any restaurant, right? Like any restaurant that's out there has leftover food the California law that we talked about, whatever the case is, to bring that into play, that there's more scalability here beyond this, right? Because an investor has to be excited about that part. Last piece of feedback is if you go to that slide where it's like a 3 images and it says how it works or how we partner. This part is really important. Right? I don't think you guys have covered this well enough. This is the part that tells the investor your platform, right? And how this partner platform works, how you have no legal liability, all those questions that an investor has, like what if food goes bad, or who is trained to put the food in there, or what boxes are you using? All of those things get answered here. So this is a really important slide for investors to be like, oh, they're a platform. They take a cut off the top and they don't have to hire any employees, right? So your only cost is the fridge, basically, logistics and the fridge. And that doesn't come across as clearly here.
Thank you.
Wait, I would just like that. So like, what specifically would you want like us to explain the slide? So like, we can know. What specifically would you like us to like add to the slide and like mention to make it like more?
So you're going to have no employee, right? Your only cost is going to be the fridge. You're not going to have liability of food going back. You're not going to be the ones who have to clean out the fridge or whatever the case, or if the food gets thrown away. So you have none of the costs that are associated with that part, right? And that's a big part. That's a big part of any company. So you're just platform cost. And so you make $2 on every deal, and all you're doing is providing logistics and the fridge, right? So that part needs to be really clear. But that's ultimately scalable also. If you have to hire employees and train them, it's very hard to scale that model, right? But if you don't have to do that, it's more scalable.
Thank you.
Yes. So I think same thing as what Ashish said. I think your numbers should be at least 10, if not 20x more at each step. Just by addressing the schools, I mean, there are like 4,000 big universities in the US. So even if you capture 10% of that, I think like 40 universities, you're doing this in 3 years. So you should be getting more than what $600,000 revenue or profit. So I think you should show to the investors that even at year 3, you have potential to have at least $5 to $10 million revenues. And again, your low margin. So I think what you didn't explain in the pitch was what is in it for the dining halls. So don't skip that because that's very important. The other thing is you guys have talked to a lot of people, and in your pitch, it was all muddled up. Like you talked, like you went to UCI 3-4 times. I think you should start with that because that's kind of your validation point. But there's a immediate need for students which you have validated and so on. And I think again, like I said, for this first team, show a little bit more energy because you guys know this stuff. Now you have to put it together. So I think 2 big asks are you have to revisit your numbers, ask for not $20,000. I mean, this even to install a fridge to run the stuff, you at least need $500,000 to get started. And basically scale up your numbers accordingly. Mariana or I or Ashish can help you in that, but do a first cut with your mentors, basically to make sure that that's there. Any other comment?
Do you think you could go back to your slide about the contacting universities?
This one.
So it says that you've contacted 150 plus dining halls, but how many of them actually expressed further interest in continuing a relationship?
I think that's a good question. So as of right now, we have a meeting planned with the University of Michigan. And basically that meeting, we're just discussing pilot details. So we're discussing basically how our pilot will work this fall at the university. And yeah, we're gonna see in that meeting if we are going to partner with that or not. Does that answer your question?
At this stage, I think, on an 8 or 10 week program, this is very good progress. And it's good validation.
Yeah, and a lot of those other, like Miami, Northeastern, et cetera, have like expressed how this program would be beneficial and they can totally see it working out. Their program right now is, they already have something in place, but they got back to us, so we've gotten a lot of positive feedback so far.
Just financials. Did you say what the market penetration was? Those numbers. So a simple way, like 21, on your numbers, did you say that's with a market penetration of 1%? Right? It gives them a number they can then balance on. So okay, so if you get 5%, it'll be 5 times that. And so I don't know if you put that on your slide.
Want to go back to your number slide, the 3-year thing?
It's a very simple way just to give people illustration. They can also judge if they think it's actually attainable.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many that is out of your stock. Is it 1%? Is it 5%? Is it 50? If you kind of like put those numbers on your financials, then it's very illustrative.
Hello, we are CarePal, and we provide support for seniors as they navigate life with their rising health needs. Support for the sandwich generation is growing over the past few years due to rising health needs of seniors and the growing population of baby boomers. Whether that's a father caring for his mother while balancing family and work, or a daughter balancing her father's hospice care while balancing just trying to survive. There's need for these people and there's need for support. Loneliness is a hurtful epidemic plaguing across all seniors internationally, and there's not enough time to balance it all. But that is where we come in. We are CarePal, and we help you at your pace. Here we see 3 different companies. One company handles the distribution of care advocates, the other handles the distribution of caregivers, and the other handles conveyancing. For seniors or the sandwich generation to be able to obtain their needs, they would have to go contact 3 different companies with 3 different price points. This is a struggle. These people have to go and deal with different corporations just to get their basic needs. While CarePal covers all of these, we'll be able to encompass all of these needs for our seniors.
CarePal offers an end-to-end session with certified companies. All companies are background checked and certified in first medicine. We provide real-time family updates and additional services like pharmacy trips, grocery runs, or visiting friends. Make life easier, safer, and more personalized for seniors. From research from our survey, 55% of respondents say that conveyancing was the most stressful part during a medical appointment. Along with that, 70% of respondents say that a family member takes time out of their schedule to attend appointments with seniors. This shows that there's a clear, large, and pressing need for our service. CarePal is planning to partner with clinics, senior centers, and hospitals. But to a direct consumer, we will charge $80 service fee that is charged per hour. 50% of this profit will go to our caregiver. CarePal will also give a monthly subscription plan to our frequent users and valued customers. They will get priority booking while also getting new premium add-ons. Some other premium add-ons that we have, such as an extended appointment time or additional stops, generate extra revenue. For example, one of our premium add-ons that we offer is an extended wait time, which is charged at an extra $40 per hour. Unfortunately, our CMO, Olivia Jolin, is not here today, so I'll be presenting her section. But we plan to partner with senior centers and hospitals, focusing on family-centric marketing and safety-first messaging. Unlike our other senior services, we provide companion care first with mobility aid. We provide personal connections, not just a simple rideshare app. If 5% of our market is adopted, we plan to seek 25
255 million net sales in our third year. Our target market is California, Florida, and Texas, with 4 to 6 million customers in the next 3 years.
So our total addressable market is all the seniors in the United States who may need transportation and paying services, which would make about 55 million seniors in total. But for our SAM, or serviceable addressable market, we're going to be targeting the seniors in California first, then we're going to be moving to Texas and Florida. For our sum, we're just going to be targeting 1% of seniors in those states, which would make about 100,000 seniors in total. So some of the cost trends in the United States are that it's $6,098 per month for seniors to live in California, and in Texas, there's $21 billion needed for everything, like including education and Medicaid. But for our overall insight, we have large potential market, so we can have more affordable companionships or companion services. So over here is the app called CarePal. So first you would log in as users do, so you click any of the three users. For example, let's say you click Josh, it would take you to this screen right here. So you can either click medical appointment, visiting friend, personal grooming, or shopping. But today we're going to be clicking on medical appointments, which would then take you to this home screen right here where you can click any of these four. But today we're just going to be focusing on GP visit. So then you confirm your destination. You would just type in your home address, and then you just like type in the address of where you want to go. Then once you got that all sorted out, you quickly send, and now you're picking a time to pick today morning, today afternoon, today evening, or tomorrow. But today we're going to be picking today afternoon. Then to continue, then you can choose any of these five highly rated drivers.
Okay, so here's our money distribution. So our first 40% will go towards our app development. So this is where we improve features such as booking rides, tracking, as well as many other features. Then 25% will go towards our operations and staffing. So this is where we put money into hiring companions to provide a better experience for our users. Then we'll use 20% of our money for customer acquisition. So we'll use money for advertisements and partnerships to reach out to more families in need. Then we'll use 10% of our money for legal and administrative costs to make sure we follow health guidelines. And then we'll use 5% of our money for the technological infrastructure for our app. So this is where we put money into app maintenance and preventing user data from getting leaked, as well as just making sure the app runs smoothly.
We will also be asking for an investment of 2.6 million.
Okay, and so this is our progress so far. So we have already developed a prototype for our app. And we've also started market validation by reaching out to many senior centers. And now we just need funds to create a test our app.
Hello, I'm Natalia. I'm the CEO, followed by Aubrey, Fiona, Haley, Ronit, and Ryan, and Olivia. We are CarePal. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you guys have a lot of the pieces here, but you need a lot of work. Energy, presentation, knowing your material, all that stuff, cadence between each of you. If one of you is super high energy and the next person is super low energy and high energy again, that doesn't play well as much. Your numbers aren't clear, like in terms of how you're going to get revenue. I don't think you're using the tools that you have at your disposal. Like, if you took your entire presentation, recorded yourselves, all of you, and transcribed that and gave it to an AI and said, can you help me make this more coherent? It will help you do that. And you're not using those tools. it's very difficult. I know this and I've been watching it for, develop over 8 weeks, so I understand what the story you're trying to tell. But if I was looking at this without that background, it would be really hard for me to understand what you guys are actually offering, where you're actually going to make money, and how you're actually going to do it. The pieces are here, so I'll give you a couple of examples. Firstly, the slides are not the quality that they could be to bring the information across. You're looking at everybody else's slides, take note of how easy it is. I'll give you one example of one slide. Go back to that slide that you have where you're showing your app screens. Okay, and this is good for everybody, right? You probably spent like 3 or 4 minutes going through this. What was the purpose? What's the purpose of this slide? You should have that answer to every single slide you have there. Every slide you put up there, you should know what the purpose of that slide is, and the answer to that purpose should be on here. So I'm going to ask one of you who presents the slide, what's the purpose of this slide?
So basically, I'm just describing the code type, describing what the code type is and how the seniors are able to use it.
And what's the purpose? What do you want the investor to get out of that?
To know how the slide works. Just like to know how the app works.
Why?
So there's insight on the user experience and know what they're investing in, what exactly their product is and how it would feel.
What part about the user experience is important here?
How to navigate the app and how it's accessible for seniors.
What does that mean? Like any app has a way to navigate it, but what's the reason? What's important about this app and showing the navigation?
It's important so the seniors, they know what steps gonna come next in that app process.
But what is the big deal here? So I'll give you an example. A big deal might be, like you brought up earlier, that the caregiver always knows what's happening with the person who's getting the care. If that's the point you want to give across, that's what you need to have on this app. Then the headline of this slide would be, the caregiver always knows what's happening. See what I'm saying? Right now, the way you're presenting this has no value and you're taking so much time doing it. And that's true across the board for every slide. Let's go back to the slide of where you have how are you going to make money? Okay. At the beginning of this part right here. It's really hard for me to understand how are you going to make money here. You're jumping from one thing to another thing to another thing. Every slide that you have, think about what is the 15-word thing you're trying to get across to that person and to the investor. And base your slide presentation on that point you're trying to make. And this is universal to almost all of your slides. It's very hard to see what you're trying to say with that slide. The pieces are here, but a lot of practice and it's very disjointed.
Thank you.
I think, as Ashish said, that you have too many words, too many things. So one thing I would do is first use AI to simplify it. And if you're not able to, let's have a session with Mariana, me, or Ashish this week. We can help you distill it into a coherent story. Because you have too much text, you're trying to read the text and it's not getting explained. I think, as I said in the previous few sessions, in the first 1 minute, your value proposition should be clear to the audience. And you have a good value proposition. Everybody can relate to it, especially people our age. We have parents, we worry about them, we have to take care of them, we don't have time to take care of them. So one of the key values is, everybody in the room will relate to it. If you stress it, ask the question, how many of you have parents who you've taken care of in the last 2 years or last 5 years? Everybody will raise hand. And then you say, we have interviewed, this is a big problem. We want to help them and we have created a solution for them. Now you at least have the audience the attention to what you're trying to solve. And then tell a coherent story. Use AI to make it simpler. You have all the numbers. I think these numbers may need some vetting, but even if the numbers are not accurate, at least you should tell the story in a very simple way. You need to simplify your slides that will make presentation better. I think because whoever is speaking on a slide, there has to be at least, I mean, at most one or two things that you want to convey to whoever is listening. If you have, if you have 50 different points to convey on a slides, the people get confused, people start reading the slide, who's presenting, they can't present properly. So think about whoever is presenting the slide, there shouldn't be more than 2 or 3 things that you want to convey. If that's clear, then the presentation will become easier. So you guys need a lot of work in cleaning up, so spend today trying to simplify this. Okay, thank you.
Hello everyone, we are Sarabakwa. Last year I moved into my new home and we were so excited about our new backyard. We bought a plant, we spent hundreds of dollars, and the worst part is, it died. I shared this problem with my friends when I realized we weren't the only ones. That is how we came up with Sarabakwa, Lawn and Order. And guess what? We're not the only ones. People around the world feel the same way. Gardening is so confusing.
Gardening can quickly become time-consuming and expensive, with $1,000 renovations, plant guidance, and space design, turning something meant to be enjoyable into a constant hassle.
Now, is this really a problem? Did people say yes? The number one problem people have with gardening is that their plants always do poorly. As Lafayette and more than 200 plus people in our survey say. The number two problem is that people want access to info. People want to be able to design and maintain their problem. And more than 72% of our survey respondents said that they have struggled maintaining their garden. In the near future, people foresee that they're going to need help with their plants, designing it, and maintaining their current yard that they have.
We interviewed a local gardener and he said that homeowners often don't have time, so they guess and it backfires. Our solution is an all-in-one AI app that allows users to upload their backyard through their camera. After uploading their backyard, our AI model will generate multiple designs for users to choose from, whether that is a Zen Japanese garden or a cottage dream fairy tale. They will then get complete guidance start to finish on how to make their dream into a reality. We will even connect them with local nurseries and contractors to ease the makeover process.
Now, this is our market. There's a huge market demand for Servant. First of all, 80% of people want an app that can help educate and sell them products specific to their garden, which we saw. Secondly, people want to be able to, 86% of people want to be able to design and maintain their plants, which we saw. And finally, 82% of people want to be able to maintain the current garden they have, which we saw.
And Sarabakwa isn't just for people with backyards, it's for everybody. Homeowners with patios and balconies to homeowners with indoor plants.
The market that Sarabakwa taps into is large and hugely unexplored. First of all, we have a $178 to $188 billion market nationwide, which includes over 700,000 landscaping businesses nationwide. For our song, we have an $11 billion market, which includes 7 million homes that garden in California. And finally, for Southern California, we have a $350 million market because the average homeowner spends $10,000 to $15,000 per landscaping project. And our market is still growing. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the landscaping market is growing by 5 to 7% per year, and in 5 to 6 years, it is estimated that our market nationwide will be over $200 billion.
Through our app, users can use our AI to have AI-generated yard designs based on their space and their preferences. They also have access to AI tips specific to their plants and can connect to contractors who provide services tailored to their project needs. Users can also have options for local nurseries where they can easily buy various plant products and garden tools where they will be able to save time, money, and build the best version of their garden.
On opening our app, our users are able to have 3 options. The first is to maintain an existing garden. The second is to design a completely new one. And third is to integrate something new into their existing garden. They can even contact local professionals and nurses as well.
These plants are still growing, and I like to keep it that way. I don't know the species, and neither do I know how to maintain it. But luckily, I asked Rolfo to help me.
In this case, we're going to use the maintain function. I'm going to upload a picture, or take a picture of it, and upload it to my app. I'll tell the location of my house, the direction of it faces, and provide key information. I'll select key choices that best fits my need, and select between 4 recommendations. And it's even able to identify the name of the plant, which is a tomato plant. It's given me a water schedule, which is 3 days, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 a.m. It's given me a fertilization plan as well, which consists of 3 phases from week 1 to week 5. Furthermore, it doesn't just give me a plan, it gives me products I can buy from as well, and I can buy them through our app. Our business is a combination of the best parts of Amazon Marketplace, which is allowing multiple users to purchase and select items they want to purchase. A TaskRabbit for gardeners, where different contractors and nurseries can list themselves in our app and connect them to our users. And commission, just like Yelp. For our operations plan, we understand that shipping plants can be expensive. That's why we're going to have to partner with at least one nursery, one landscape company, and one hardscape company per city, starting at SoCal. Then into California, which has over 3,000 nurseries, over 8,000 landscaping companies, and over 6,000 hardscaping companies, where we'll contact each city and partner with them. And then we'll go to nationwide, where we find the regions that we're most popular with, and we'll partner with the cities around that region.
Now, how are we going to get people to even use our app? We are going to take them through the marketing funnel. First, how are we going to get awareness? We're going to use social media posts that are so relatable and have competitions that they can compete in. And then we need to put them in the consideration stage. They are going to have the app, but how do we know if they're going to want to use it? We'll be using targeted ads. We are targeting mainly new homeowners, so we're going to partner with realtors, influencers, so they will want to use the app more. And then conversion. How are we going to get them to pay? We will make it super easy because we're going to connect with nurseries everywhere. We're going to make it so it's easy to find. And please, Home Depot and Lowe's are not going to be our competitors. They're going to be our partners in this situation. And loyalty. We're going to have competitions, as I said before, so to increase engagement, and we're going to make sure they can have and repeatedly buy it through monthly subscription packages. Now you may be wondering, aren't there 100 apps like this already? But this real thing is there is PlantNet, Ratio, and Clues, which only solve a small part of the problem. Servaqua solves everything, which is what homeowners need. We have plant intelligence, small water and garden management. You can buy plants based on recommendations, augmented reality placement, and you can connect with contractors.
We have 5 main ways of making money. It's commission from plant deliveries, services, and gardening supply deliveries. And then in the future, we'll have an advertisements and subscriptions. So we'll make 15% commission from plant deliveries and also gardening supply deliveries, which include plants, soils, fertilizers, and gardening tools. We also will make 10% to 20% commission on landscaping services, which include irrigation installation and backyard lighting. We'll have a $24 subscription, and that will include an ad-free experience, and it will have specialized recommendations for existing gardens, and then also care for plants based on weather predictions. Okay, so this looks very complicated, so I'll explain it simply. In year 1, we plan to have 5% of Orange County, which is around 40,000 downloads, but only 5% of those people will actually do business with us, which is 2,000. So the average landscaping job is around $1,000, and then since 2,000 people will be doing business with us, it'll be around $2 million in sales, and we'll make 15% of that, which is $300,000. Since we don't have advertisements and subscriptions in year 1, $300,000 is our total revenue for year 1. For year 2, we'll be introducing advertisements and subscriptions, so it'll change a little bit. We plan to have 5% of SoCal by year 2, and that'll be around 180,000 people. And then 5% of those people will be doing business with us, which is around 9,000 people. Since the average cost for a landscaping job is around $1,000, it'll be $9 million in sales, but then we'll make 50%, which is $1,350,000. We make an estimate on advertisements, which is around $2 to $3 per person per year. And then for a subscription, around 5% of people will be having our subscription. So it's around $300,000, which is a total of $2 million for year 2. We repeat this process for year 3 and year 4, where in year 3, we plan to have 0.2% of the US downloading our app. And then in year 4, we plan to have 1% of the US downloading our app, which leads to a total of $7 million in total revenue for year 3. And then $36 million in total revenue for year 4. So to find how much we need to raise, we decided to calculate our total costs by seeing what we need to do. So we have app development, marketing and sales, and then also we have other expenses like legal fees. Most of our expenses will come from marketing sales. And then once we take our total cost and then take that away from our revenue, we'll have a net loss of $150K for our first year, a net loss of $500K for our second year, but then a profit of $1.6 million for our third year, and a profit of $22 million for our fourth year. Which means that we have to raise $500K in our first year and then $1 million for our second year.
And this could not have happened without our wonderful team. I'm Karen and I'm your CEO. This is Lasia, our CMO, Suri, our COO, Rathmi, our CTO, Sita, our CPO, and Shreyash, our CFO.
Our ask is $500,000 in a convertible note for our company.
So everyone, let's stop guessing and start
growing.
So I really like how all of you have a part and did really well on that and seem to know your materials. You're still a little rusty, which you'll get by practice. So I like that, and I commend how you kind of all had an equal role in this that flowed well. I think your cadence could be better so that you're all equally excited. And you know you're about to go into this company and make a lot of money for yourself and for the investors. So show that excitement. I think your presentation is long. It's probably.
It's 10 minutes, 56 seconds, so
So-
3 minutes over, 4 minutes.
Yeah, so in the final, you're going to get 7 minutes to present, okay? So you're 4 minutes beyond that, and you have a lot of redundancy in your slides, right? So let's go back to the slide that, the one before this. So I'll ask the same thing. What's the point of this slide? Whoever presented the slide, what's the one or two things you want the investor to get out of this slide?
So we want our investors to know the amount of revenue that we're going to be making to show that our app and our business will actually have success. Then it also shows the ways in which we'll be making money to make it clear.
Okay, so pick two things that if I saw this and I walked away, what do you want me to remember?
I want you to remember the total revenue and probably the amount of downloads.
Okay, and that's what you should focus on. The rest of the stuff is on here, but the points that you want to make, that you want the investor to have the take home, that's what you should be highlighting. And again, same point. If you want me to get that information, it should be super easy for me to get it in 5 seconds. There's like 500 numbers on here. I'm not going to get those things if I don't read this slide for like 5 or 6 minutes, right? So think about every slide that you have and what's the purpose. So, and I think also you have a lot of redundancy in your slides, right? Which is, for example, there is 2 different places where you talk about how you're going to make money. There's 2 slides in 2 different parts of the presentation where you talk about how and where you're going to get your money from. And that leads me to where I think is the weakest part of your presentation. It's really hard to understand how you're going to make money. You have a complicated revenue source situation. And I understand why it's complicated. There are 3 different parts. There are, like percentage commission, there's a subscription, there's another source also, right? There's 3 sources, right? So ads, right? So that's the hardest part to basically understand. Like, it's confusing. And so the more you can clarify that part and codify it for an investor to grab onto, oh, they're gonna make this much from subscriptions, they're gonna make this much from ads, they're gonna make this much from, I see, I forgot the third one. But it's hard to remember that stuff, affiliate, right? So that's the part to clarify. That's the part that's hardest to understand where you're going to get your money from.
See, thank you so much.
Yeah, I think you guys have made really good progress. A lot of material. You can simplify it quite a bit. And I think just as a feedback, like you caught my attention when you went to your plant and started taking pictures. I would bring it up front. Just as you describe what you do, and here is what you use it. How easy is it? I think just if you spend 1 minute on that, everybody will relate to it. And if you're solving a real problem, you'll build a community around it. Then you'll make money as a secondary aspect because then you'll bring in all the vendors who will sell through you, and maybe you'll have subscription. I think if those things are clear in the first 3 minutes, people will start believing and simplify the numbers. I think this is too busy a slide. I mean, you can probably get away half of the numbers, maybe just, I think and this is that for everybody in this room, I think there's a method called Howard Box method of presentation on your slides. It should have just 3 things. What is the title of the slide? What are you explaining? And what is the takeaway? Rest is smooth because if you're able to explain to a person who's looking at the slide those 2-3 things, it becomes so much easier for you to present and the person to understand. If somebody is looking at the slide, they will understand nothing. I mean, if somebody just got distracted reading a text and comes back, they will understand nothing of the slide. If you have a takeaway saying that my revenue in year 4 is $36 million, one thing that's missing is what's your margins. You have a very high margin business because you're basically running a platform. That should come out clearly. I think those are the kind of things you should probably reduce your slides to maybe 70% of what they are. And your presentation will become that much better.
One more thing, in the ending last slide, the CEO needs to make a pretty emphatic statement. Over the last many days in slide. So this is where we're trying to bring everything home to the CEO. That listen, we got a great scalable model, which is high growth potential in a large market. We have a great app which can make life easy for the homeowner. And we want to raise $500 million to get this company going. So this has to come through your sort of bringing it home and getting everything. The only reason you are here is to raise money.
I think main thing is first convince the audience, and this goes for every team. Like, why would they care about your business? If you're able to convince them, you're off the. I mean, you already won. I think rest of the things you can connect the dots. You can have some, and you can always correct those things. But if that thing is not clear, I think people will not pay attention to you.
So, good job, everyone. You almost made me fall off my chair with your pivot. So, this was the first time I actually saw your pivot. I had missed a few presentations. So, good job pivoting. But have you considered changing the name of your company? Because the current name of your company is tied to your previous idea, right? So, you want maybe think about using an appropriate name for the company with your new pivot.
Yes, we will consider it, because we pivoted quite a bit from sprinklers into a whole plant app. So, we'll start trying to plan.
We're not improving event planning, we're completely reinventing it. Where Bash weeks of work becomes hours. Now we all know planning an event is chaotic. Users don't struggle because of lack of options, but they struggle because everything is scattered. From finding the right venue to coordinating with multiple vendors happen across multiple platforms. On the other side, vendors and event planners experience inconsistent demand, limited visibility, and no centralized system to manage their bookings and clients. Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah.
A good example of when something happens for one of you to jump in, right? So it doesn't feel like you're missing it.
Introducing Bash. Bash is a unified platform that allows for seamless planning from start to end. Our app will have key features such as discovering curated vendors with transparent pricing, booking services in real time, coordinating logistics across stakeholders, and executing events with end-to-end visibility. Our solutions provide outcomes such as reduced planning by over 70%, increased vendor utilization and revenues, enabled seamless, trusted transactions, and a satisfied and proud host. What makes Bash powerful is how effortless it makes the entire hosting experience. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, consumers can stay organized with our features such as real-time launching, booking, and managing events, comparing pricing and availability, using our smart budget assist with guardrails, and post-event engagement. It's also great for our vendors as well. They'll be able to acquire high-intent customers, manage bookings and availabilities, optimize pricing and utilization, surveys and feedbacks, and upselling and cross-selling with our specific customized Bash vendor portal. This also allows administrators and the Bash teams to vet the vendors before they enter our marketplace, making sure our app is secure for everyone.
Let's talk about why us and why now. The events industry is changing fast. People are spending more on experiences, and events are becoming more personalized. At the same time, vendors are moving from offline to digital, creating a huge opportunity. Bash is built for this moment, offering a seamless AI-powered platform with verified vendors. We're not just planning events. We're building the infrastructure for how we celebrate. We surveyed 180 event planners and consumers across Orange and LA County, and the results were clear. 82% says event planning is stressful, and 74% says they couldn't find reliable vendors. At the same time, 65% of consumers and 73% of vendors are willing to pay for a better solution, and that's where Bash comes in.
Our main competitors consist of Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Eventbrite, and Partyslate, but none of them contain the features of Bash. Bash has a party-supplies marketplace, venues and vendors booking, invitations, a personalized AI, and start-to-end party planning. Our competitors only have one or two of these features, and they don't appeal to the full party planning process. With Bash, you can plan your perfect party, from finding vendors to creating invitations to gathering price supplies.
Our beta is currently live, and users can complete the full flow from discovery to booking, which is already generating engagement on both sides. Consumers are actively browsing and interacting while vendors are onboarding, managing availability, and starting to convert leads. We're reinforcing this with a tight feedback loop, rapidly iterating based on user and vendor input to improve engagement and retention. And with our vendor portal live, we're making it easy to supply to stay active and responsive, which directly drives more transactions. Now, we would like you to hear from one of our consumers and what they have to say about our platform.
Joseph Circle, and I have just explored the Bash platform. And I definitely think this is a great platform for clients and customers to be able to organize all of their thoughts. This really takes you through the brainstorming process and really helps you decide what this looks like in the broad strokes. So taking your venues and your vendors and all the things that take like the big pieces of your budget, really helping you shape what your ideas are and what your thoughts are to help execute. I would definitely be using Bash to share these with my clients and get their vision to reality.
Our
market size is based on cumulative research from institutions, industry reports, and internal analysis. The TAM in the United States is $302 billion, and by 2035, this will increase to $700 billion. Our current TAM is $138 billion, or 88 million households. We are confident that we are able to penetrate 2% within the first 3 years, making this our song. With the ability to scale by 10 times within the next decade, our app is in a promising marketplace.
In the first year, we will penetrate 0.1% of our serviceable obtainable market, equating to $3 million in revenue. The second year, we project revenue to grow to $15 million, and by the third year, we anticipate scaling to $45 million, or 1.5% of our sum. Here's how we'll make our $3 million. Each event generates an average of $8,000 in gross merchandise value, or GMV. By taking a 10% fee, or $800, and adding it to an average $100 subscription component per event, our total revenue per event will equate to $900. For example, in year 1, we will aim for 3,600 events. Using our average GMV of $8,000 per event, our total GMV will be $28.8 million. Our 10% take will equate to $2.88 million, and our subscription component will be $360,000. Adding these together, this translates to about $3.2 million in total revenue. Using the same formula, and as YouTube grows to 18,000 events, this drives revenue to $16.2 million. And by year 3, at 54,000 events, we will reach $48.6 million in revenue. This is our path to profitability. As mentioned before, each event generates $900 in revenue. After accounting for direct costs, customer acquisition, vendor fees, and operational support, each event contributes $600 in profit, giving us a strong contribution margin of 67%. Scaling that across 54,000 events gives $32.4 million in total contribution profit. From that, we will cover operating expenses. Tech and product at 8 to 10 million, sales and marketing at 10 to 12 million, and growth at 4 to 5 million, leaving us with 5 to 10 million in the operating profit, or 10 to 20% margins.
Our go-to-market strategy is all about building momentum in 3 clear phases. In phase 1, we focus on building a strong supply of 0 to 300 events per month. We do this by onboarding high-quality vendors in key categories such as venues and catering, targeting top performers, and forming partnerships with local venues and planners. In phase 2, we activate demand and scale from 300 to 1,500 events per month. This means driving customer acquisition through paid search and social, tapping into influencers and community networks, and building strong referral programs. Finally, in phase 3, we scale liquidity from 1,500 to 4,500 events per month. We expand city by city, lean into vendor referrals and organic growth, and use product-led strategies like automation and recommendations to grow efficiently. Each phase builds on the last, helping us scale smarter, faster, and more sustainably.
The reason why BAS stands out is our well-integrated AI platform that acts as a personalized event planner. Once the user enters the event type, budget, and the guest count, the AI generates a customized event plan with theme suggestions, vendor recommendations, and also a smart checklist. It doesn't end there. The AI also tracks the user's budget, helping them stay organized. And it also ensures that nothing is missed throughout the planning process. Our intelligent system streamlines both the discovery and the vending side, automating the key planning events. At the same time, it also makes sure that the revenue engine grows by helping the vendors gain more visibility. By combining automation with personalization, BAS transforms event planning from a stressful task into a seamless and an enjoyable experience. Bringing an idea to life takes more than just a vision. It takes the right team. I have a very cursive team that work together to bring this idea to life. Now I would like to introduce my management team. I'm Bhavita, I'm the CEO of BAS. Vinya is our CMO, Jonathan is our CSO, Sahi, who's our COO, Lynn is our CFO, and Kushi is our co-CSO, and Ronit, who couldn't join us today, is our CTO.
Bash is currently raising a friends and family angel round. We are asking for $750,000 on a convertible note with a discount rate of 50%. Our valuation is $7 million, and we are accepting check sizes ranging from $25,000 to $250,000. Thank you so much for listening, and remember, if you can dream the party, Bash can make it happen. Find it, book it, Bash it.
John, a very good job. Again, I really like how every member of your team is participating. That's big. I think, again, cadence is important, in terms of like you guys all having similar levels of energy. If you want to go back to literally any of your slides, like let's go back to the one where you have the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, right? There's just so much information on here, right? So I'm going to ask the same question I asked previously. What's the point of this slide? Who presented this? What's the point of the slide? Yeah.
So the point of the slide is to show how we're going to integrate ourselves like into the market, how we're going to get people to actually like better out great outreach strategies and
So it's your go-to-market strategy, right? So if I'm looking at this, you're going to say phase 1 is your building supply density. Phase 3 is your activating demand, going from 300 to 1500. And phase 2, phase 3 is to scale liquidity. That's the point of the slide. Those are the only things you need to have on here. The rest of what you have here, you can talk to, right? But I should be able to understand what the purpose of this slide is just by looking at it. The same methodology, right? Why? Like, even the question, like, go-to-market strategy is a generic title to this slide. Make the title of the slide what the takeaway is, right? The takeaway is you have a doable go-to-market strategy, right? So it's like you could title a slide coherent go-to-market strategy or something like that. But that's the takeaway you want the investor to have, right? So that's the presentation. Every one of your slides is just has a ton of information on it. It's very hard to get like all of the financial slides in the same way. It's really, really hard to get what the takeaways are. So focus on what you're saying to the investor and have the slides say that, like the main point. The second thing that I'll give you feedback on is I think it's really difficult for me to understand again, like, to be blunt, I don't believe you. I don't believe what you're going to do with this app. And in past presentations, you have had me believe that. So I think you've lost a little bit of the, how is it that you're going to do it, right? So you're telling me that you're doing all this stuff, but I want you to show it to me somehow. I want to believe that that's the case. Like, take the example of the testimonial you have. You introduced that person, but you didn't tell us who that person is and how they're relevant to this business. Like, so I'm listening to her testimonial, but I'm like, who is she? And why does it matter? And why does it convince me? You have to think through this whole thing and see, like, what are you doing to convince me that this is real, right? And, you know, whether it's a story of somebody or like, I think in the past versions, you showed me like how you actually book, you know, like an event or a venue or something. That proof is being lost here.
It's very simple today, like take this presentation, ask AI to say that simplify it with less words and give me a 10 PowerPoint slide, which will explain my pitch. You'll get dramatic improvement in 2 minutes. And then go back and tell the story. Too many words. I think every slide has too many words. That needs to be dramatically reduced because it will improve your presentation also. Second thing is same as what Ashish said. I mean, you guys are making arranged party, but your presentation doesn't show that. I mean, you're very flat. I mean, you should come out like as if you're throwing a party. And I think in some of the early versions, you did that. And you have to be excited. I mean, this is like, I'll make your party. Give a scenario. This is, I mean, I've been telling for every team. In first 2 minutes, you have to excite your audience and make them believe that this can be done. This is the wow thing. That's not coming out. I think practice that because that's the most important thing. I think even if your numbers are wrong, that's okay. But if you don't make the audience believe that this is the right problem to solve, you have lost the audience. And you have to be excited. I mean, you're throwing a party. I mean, you're bringing in people together. What Ashish said. I mean, you have one person. If you can lay out a scenario within a minute, like this person wanted to throw a party, this is how Bash helped create a really best party he could in this many, in such easy steps. And then throughout your story, bring that reference in, showing that this is what it meant. This is how much cost savings he got, or this is the things he could do, what he could otherwise do. Then the audience is again relating to that you're actually solving a problem, you know the problem and so on. It's all there in what you guys have done. I think you just need to compress it and make it much more simpler. So do the first thing. As soon as you get back, throw this presentation to AI and ask it to create a much simpler presentation.
You know, I'm having difficulty with $8,000 per event because let's say you start with grassroots first, just staying on the slide, right? And you say, listen, April, May, June is coming in, we're going to do graduation parties. Average cost is not $8,000. So that's why I'm lost if it's $8,000 number one. And number two, on the expense side, I'm still not clear what support are you providing? Are you providing purely electronic support? Apps oriented support, that's it, are you providing a physical support setup or whatever it is? So both the revenue and cost are a little bit difficult for me to understand. And you're not giving me too much validation that I should believe those numbers.
Imagine a student, motivated, ambitious, dreaming of a top college. But when they try to figure out what to do, extracurriculars, requirements, deadlines, it's overwhelming. Their parents aren't sure, their counselor's busy, and so they guess. They spend months doing what they think is right, never knowing if it's enough. Now imagine if they had an AI counselor guiding them every step of the way. That's why we built Scholera. Big goals, small steps, real success. Scholera is a gamified 4-year academic game plan that solves the problem of students struggling to maintain their GPA, choose the right courses, and prepare for tests. It also solves the problem of counselors not having enough time for each and every one of their students by providing personalized, affordable, 24/7 college guidance that turns dream colleges into real acceptances. Scholera is the strategy engine for college admissions. We move students from reactive, last-minute stress to proactive, data-driven planning starting freshman year. We offer 3 core pillars: quantified competitiveness through a live readiness score, predictive modeling to see how choices impact outcomes, and scalable guidance that replaces a $10,000 advisor with AI. We didn't just guess that there was a need, we validated it. Our data shows that over 90% of students find this roadmap extremely useful. More importantly, the majority are looking for this all-in-one solution that Scholera provides. This shows that the market isn't just ready for us, it's actively looking for better counseling accessibility. Scholera's magic is in its AI engine that transforms a student's dream college into a feasible 4-year academic game plan. It analyzes their GPA, major, and target schools, then turns that into levels, milestones, and progress tracking to keep students motivated.
For counselors, Scholar provides an easily accessible roadmap that allows counselors to see each and every progress of their students.
So, there are 17 million high school students in the US, and roughly 11 million of them are college bound. At an average subscription of $180 per year, that represents a $2 billion market from students alone. Additionally, there are 30,000 private college counselors in the US, and with our tiered bulk pricing model, counseling organizations can spend an average of $4,000 on our software annually. This represents an additional market opportunity of $120 million. Together, this brings us to our total addressable market of just over $2 billion annually. When we narrow this down to students actively seeking structured college prep and counselors scale their businesses, we reach our serviceable addressable market of $636 million. And capturing even just a small percent of that leads us to our serviceable obtainable market of $7 million.
Follow Scholar on Instagram and TikTok by posting content about college stress, which is relatable. And by using our original model, we'll gain early adoption and revenue. Growth will come from student ambassadors, micro-influencers, and then our referral plan that will fuel organic, peer-driven uptake. At the same time, we'll target counselors and advisors. We'll offer them bulk discounted student bundles, which will improve accuracy, save money, and then generate predictable revenue for Scholar. And then finally, we will go through like school and district partnerships, which will position Scholar as the core infrastructure for modern college guidance.
Compared to media support college fund, Scholar is the only platform that combines strategic planning and predictive modeling with real-time feedback. While others are either scalable or personal, we are the only solution that is both scalable and affordable.
Let's talk about how we make money. Students pay a simple subscription of $15 a month. For counselors, we use our bulk pricing model. As they add more students, prices decrease from $15 to $8. This shows that counselors can scale their practices a lot more easily while we increase our overall revenue. So instead of onboarding just one user at a time, we're selling to multiple users through one counselor. To show how this scales, we built a 3-year revenue plan, starting with a simple and practical approach. By year 1, we target LA and Orange County, onboarding 1,000 students and 25 college counselors. This brings our revenue to $280,000. By year 2, we expand across Southern California, reaching 5,000 students and 80 college counselors. This represents a $1.2 million revenue. By year 3, we expand statewide across California, reaching 20,000 students and 80 college counselors. This brings us to our revenue of $4.4 million. This step-by-step regional expansion allows us to reach our serviceable obtainable market of $7 million.
Our current status. So we've refined our AI college guidance counselor concept. We've designed our platform architecture, and we've started getting admissions data. We've also got our business model, our core features, and our market research all done and completed. And we recently completed our MVP. Our next steps are running a pilot with early users and reforming like our architecture before we start scaling. Our management team. Lisa is our CEO, Vivon is our CFO, CTO, Advika is our COO, and I'm Sophia, and I'm your CFO.
Big
Goals, small steps, real success. Scholar up. Oh.
So, you guys are getting there, definitely. I think you could start a lot stronger. Your value proposition in your first slide, it's very easy to come across. And I think you take a minute or two into the second or third slide to really get there. So that first statement, I think you could refine a lot more. I believe the story that you have here because I've lived myself with my own kids, but you're not showing it to me, right? Like I really want to see a student going through a slider, right? And as a result, it changes what colleges they can get into. It's not hard for you guys to mock up. Like it doesn't even have to be like a work functioning app or something, but just show the investor or the audience or the user that if they decided to add this course or if they changed their grade or on this course or if they did this internship or whatever it is, what does that change for them 4 years into the future or 3 years into the future? That's what you're saying your app can do, right? Show me how that works, right? Convince me that that's possible within the first couple of minutes of your presentation. Then go into all the numbers and everything else like that. And so I think you can do that in the magic of your app kind of part. That's my biggest piece of feedback is show me how this works.
Okay, yeah. And I think, we have said this before, like, this is the business which is really, it can scale if done right. And you need to bring it up, like I said last time, like, example, like, I'm Lisa, we are helping Lisa get into Notre Dame. And that's a reach school. And this is how she got into it. And this is what Scholara did for her. And then bring that back again and again. I think that, and the second thing is, I mean, maybe it's too late to change. I don't want to disrupt you, but I don't like going to concerts at all. I mean, you're disrupting them. So I think that should be actually a tagline. Basically, you're the next generation AI counselor. We are basically eliminating the counseling industry. That's your aspirational goal. So I think that's something which, you can put it as a footnote that you may partner with counselors. I think I would say that you're basically go-to-market is word of mouth and going to school districts because you're democratizing the counseling process and maybe going to the school counselors and making their life easier. I think that would be one way to go because they're not getting paid.
I think your biggest customer, the beginning is going to be the parents.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're the ones who are going to want to do this. And it's a very low cost relatively versus what they would have to pay to go out of house. I think that there is a potential counselor play in year 2 or year 3. But right now, if you present that, you're going to get more questions asked about it than not. So like the cooler story is highly scalable disruption of this archaic industry.
So, just to bring, last time we gave this feedback to you, but you still didn't take it, you still feel confident in your coach. So think it this way, exactly as this is the disruption model. We're trying to cut the council off to AI as a counselor. And for a particular student who really wants a counselor, you will have a small network of counselors can help. And you can say we expect 90 to 95% of our business is AI based. Only a very small percent, which is much more expensive. But it's not a buyer.
And it's not even helping you, right? Your numbers like, if you look at your majority of the revenue is coming from the students. And it's.
That's where you took our feedback.
Yeah.
You reduced the number for the counselor, right? So you took that feedback, but like as I say, you're kind of relying on crutch. It's a message that doesn't need to be there. Your story is, you go to your third slide.
I think
the third slide. It's the one, that one. You see that scalable personalized guidance where you're disrupting the $10,000 counselor or whatever that is? That's your story.
And everybody will relate to it because nobody wants to pay $10,000 to a counselor just to make your kid accountable, right? If there's a tool that parent can use with the kid, that's a much better option, which is much cheaper. You're democratizing the counseling for even people who cannot afford it, and then you're making it much more personal through AI.
But that part, the elite level guidance at a fraction of the cost, that could be your entire model.
Yeah. And you have to come out saying that very, very strongly in the beginning. I agree. This is a big problem. Everybody should relate to it. Nobody wants to pay $10,000 to counsel. And we are here to disrupt. That's how you start your presentation.
Okay, because our original idea, like the reason why we added counseling in the first place was because we feared that students wouldn't be fully comfortable with just relying on an AI like chat. So we thought that if they had a counselor, like a human in the loop, then they would feel like it's more feasible
So
to.
that's why I would start with the high school counselors first, because they are not getting paid extra. They're getting paid by schools. So that could be your way to answer that question. So you can kind of give a hook to the high school counselors to help them better, and they will love it. So they're not making any money. And so counselors are the ones who you're disrupting. Private counselors are what you want to disrupt.
The story here is the data. That's the part that's being missed, right? Like the data is available. Like, for example, if you go back, past the last 10 years, you can see what GPA somebody had to get into Notre Dame. That's published information that's out there, right? So if you can leverage all that data now in your app, which looks at everything that somebody has and say you have a 45% chance of getting into Notre Dame. Start with that story. Story is these are Lisa's specs. Lisa has a 45% chance of getting into Notre Dame. Now we are going to show her that if she did X, Y, and Z, her chance goes from 45% to 70%, right? By moving the slider, her chance of getting into Notre Dame goes up. That is the power of what your app is going to do.
So should we like visually show that like with our prototype or just say it in our words?
No, I think anything visual is good, but I think you can make a video, you can make a mock-up video with AI. I don't know, probably in 2 days you can create a mock-up video. But I think the main thing is what Ashish is saying, showing like how your app helps like a hypothetical user improve his or her chances getting to her dream school. Right? I think that's your story. It may not be a true story. It's a hypothetical story, but you're kind of overlaying your value proposition on that story. Because then you're humanizing the problem. And cost is.
Sorry, have you guys, any one of you actually gone through one of these counselors?
Like if any one of us actually has a personal counselor.
Yeah. Or have interviewed someone who goes through or know what these counselors do?
So I'll give you an example. I had twins. They are in junior in college. So we went to a very old school counselor. She lives in Villa Park. And through a friend's reference. She was very good because she had done it for 40 years. And she was sending like a boatload of papers every 2 weeks in mail to fill up. I mean, that's archaic. I mean, the only thing was that it was keeping the kids, our girls, accountable of finishing certain things on time. But it's basically a history of what she had done for certain kind of students. And all of that can be done through AI today, through a platform. And you can get so much more information to map like what should be done for a particular school based on the person's profile and so on. I think that's the power of AI. Your problem is ideal for AI to solve. And it should be solved. I think if you guys don't do it, somebody else will do it.
You don't do it, we'll do it.
Yeah, Ashish and I have talked about it.
This is a very good idea. And the data is there and your pieces are there. You have to show the audience that you can do it. You have to show the audience that if you make these choices, if Lisa makes these choices, right? Where I said, what the guidance counselor does is like, when my kid did it, I paid $10,000, right? And they gave my daughter this huge binder, right, of what to do when. They made her start a blog, like documenting her experience or whatever, because that gives her the edge versus other students, right? Why are you guys taking this course? You're taking this partially because it's going to give you an edge as a non-school activity, right? And that will give you an edge in these applications, right? Show the audience, like the audience you will have at the final and the judges are all people who have paid for this, right? So show them that you understand that pain point. Show them that you understand that they have paid for this in the past, and now you're going to be able to do that without the counselor.
I think I would ask AI, like, show me what an average counselor does to a student in high school. Give me the full class. So they will tell you this is what it would do. Then try to mock up a video or a scenario of how your app is helping a hypothetical student get to a dream school. I think that should be the first 2 minutes of your presentation. And then even like nobody wants to spend $10,000. We are here to change the whole counseling industry. We are here to democratize it so that everybody can get it at a cheaper price. I think that's your elevator pitch.
Yeah, the rest of your presentation, once you've proven what your technology can do and convinced me of that, the rest of your presentation is all good. It's all there. You need to do the same things. There's too many things on the slides. You need to think about what each slide is actually saying. Like if I'm on the back of the room, I should be able to understand what the slide said, right? So I can't read any of this, right?
Reduce the numbers and all that thing. I think that you can run it through AI once, but the story is consistent. The only thing I didn't like about the story was the counselor part. You can put it as a footnote here to or three, maybe relevant participants. Other than that, I think bring that scenario in the front, be very confident that you're disrupting major thing. I think you get all the things.
So just to clarify, you're suggesting that we like completely eradicate the counselor idea, and if we want to keep it, then we could pursue it like in further like future years?
I think so. And I would add going to high school counselors for the human in the loop. If at all.
So you're saying like later in the years, we involve high school counselors, not private.
No, I mean, high school counselors, you can add it because you're not generating money from them, right? They can use your app. Maybe you can give the app for them to give feedback or so on. But your revenue model is relying only on parents and students.
I don't even think you need the high school counselor. I think their validation as your inputs when you're designing the app.
Yeah.
Right? So like if you had, let's say, 2 or 3 high school counselors that are acting as your advisors,
Yeah.
that would make a lot of sense. Because they can advise you on how to create this app, right? But you don't actually need that human in the loop there because the data is already there. Right? So if someone questions the human in the loop part, that should be answered by the fact that this type of data has existed forever. Right? Like this is one of the things that is so well documented. Like, what's the GPA, what's the, what SAT scores you need, what APs do you have? These are all very good predictors of where you're going to get into college, right? So the problem is that those predictors, there's like 100 of them. And the variance of those is very hard for anyone to figure out, right?
So I think what I could do is like maybe give for money active and act as a consultant based on the data that you transform or add. That should be like an hourly fee. You could give statistics. If you want to do an expert can come in and say that, okay, I've done all this thing, can you review it or can you make it better? So counselor do the same thing, right? When you give them data and they kind of tell you this and do that. You are removing all the other things that counselor are doing, because their unique selling proposition is their method of giving you what to fill in. And this is pretty much standard. You will make it even more personalized based on each person's requirements, grade, profile, personality, and so on.
That's the other thing about your company and project here is you don't need employees. You are so easy to scale. You're kind of like the SaaS. You're an AI SaaS model, right? It's an AI model where you need like 5 people in your company, right? You don't have any employees, you just have a technology. And it's going to be fed by data. So like that data loop is going to be really important. And the flywheel of data is really important, right? So let's say you are now in business for 4 years. Every single person that went into your platform, you can poll them to see where did you actually get in, right? Now you've got this flywheel of real data of people who've been through your system and have validated whether your prediction is correct or not.
Do you have any feedback on our presentation skills?
More energy, same as everyone else, more energy, like, you got a mic, use it, like, like, I think a couple of you are soft spoken, but that's why you have the mic, put it closer to your mouth, you don't have to yell, but you'll get that, the application that you want there. I think, the excitement, you're disrupting a major business here. And I can tell you that if you put the excitement in there, literally everyone within the audience who has kids your age or who are judges have been through this.
I think I would start with the difference, like 4 people, how many of you are paid for your kids? The less of
Yeah, I need to say, raise your hands to the audience, right? Start out that way. Raise your hands if you paid for a guidance counselor for your kids to go to college.
and
Then
raise
say,
your hand if you're paid for the
yeah. So you can say, keep your hand raised if you paid more than $2,000. Right? Something about disrupt students, then
I'll use the word disrupt.
No, you should.
You should, okay.
Right in the beginning, so we are disrupt the counseling market. That's how you start.
Sorry, not strong.
Because you send a message that AI is gonna disrupt the counseling
There are
market.
also calls for democratized. Not only people in Newport and Irvine should be able to get counseling. In Santa Ana and still be able to take them out. That's your, like the socialist vision.
Yeah, like every investor wants to make money while doing good. That's what you're doing here. While you're helping.
So should I talk all about this in the beginning of the presentation?
Everything is close to the net, all those things you come up, your scenario, your disruption. And
I'm going to take your slides and in this break, I'm going to ask the AI to help me with this story that we've talked about, and I'll tell you what it comes up. I'll read it, in there on how to do this first part. Then you guys can take it from there. How to quantify it.
Thank you.
I think that just be very confident, take a lot of energy, smile in front of all. We have think less business.
Thank you.
You want to help?
Thank
Good job.
you. Thank you.